lot of people on a regular basis, we just cut the whole 3 strikes rule down to 2, because you know what? If it takes 3 times for people to do odd things and cause you to question their moralities in alignment with your own, then you don't have to wait till 3 times, because that's just waiting too long. We just do strike 1, strike 2, and then we just determine, hey, if you're on board this ship, you're on board this ship. If you're not, you're not, and we go the direction that we're trying to go. It becomes natural that the people who are in the same trajectory as us become closer friends, because we all have the same mindset.
Yeah, I mean, like Eric uses the example of the Staples guys. Of somebody taking staples from work and bringing it home to use it at home. It may seem like trivial to you, but the fact is the staples don't belong to you. They belong to the business owner that owned those staples. They bought it with their money and not your money. And the fact that someone is okay and laughs about it or thinks it's funny to do that, it's just, that's just not, who am I to say, I've been locked up for drugs and guns and all kinds of stupid shit before, so I'm the last person to pass judgment on someone stealing staples from work or a pen from work or markers from work, But the little things like that add up, okay? So that's why we say that, And I'm a little bit quicker at this point in my life, I'm in my 40s now. I don't need 3 strikes. I don't need 3 clues. I don't need 3 signals to take action anymore. Usually 1 signal is all is enough. I mean, if you guys are around me, you guys on a daily basis, you guys will know that I tend to make decisions very quickly. We go into a restaurant, eat or something, I order food right away. I don't wait. When we go into a trade, and if Eric or David or Leon says that, hey, they did their analysis, this trade is good, I jump on it. I don't sit there and goof around and dick around and wait, because the longer that it takes me to make a decision, the longer that I lose money. Okay, if I'm wrong, I want to be wrong as soon as possible and get out. Okay, but those are the things that I wanted to share with the audience about, the thoughts, the speech, and the actions that I saw when I met you guys. Why don't you guys share a little bit, starting with you, David, right? Why don't you share a little bit about what you saw in me and Eric, so that other people can learn from what you see through your eyes too?
Absolutely. So when I first met Ty, as he mentioned, we were both teaching and coaching students how to trade. And what I saw, first of all, was his passion. He was absolutely committed to whatever endeavor he was working on. So if it was the coaching, he would do everything he could to get that better. I remember him filming himself to critique it and get better at it. And another thing I really appreciated was his candor. So, I'd been teaching, but I got a few of these tips from him from, partly a sales perspective, but basically just an understanding perspective, that if there's confusion, it adds paralysis, it takes time for people to analyze it, and then they basically aren't listening to what you said. So try to make things absolutely clear. And
worst of all, they don't make the trade.
And they don't make the trade, right? So, more than that, not only was it important to make things clear, but it was his candor with me. It wasn't that I was the instructor, he was the coach, and, we were in a certain place. He was like, hey, it would be better. I think the class would go better if we taught it this way. And I appreciated that. And you actually need your friends to, you have to trust them enough to give you the constructive criticism that'll make you better.
It also helps too, guys, when you criticize somebody, that you have accurate data and not just opinions. So one thing I want to share is that when I was making suggestions to David on how he could teach the stock trading classes better, I had actually kept trade logs of all the students that I was coaching up until that time, and I was able to show him the data and explain to him why I felt that this needed to be explained in a different way, or why we needed to focus more on position sizing than other stuff, right? And I had enough data to show him and explain to him scientifically why I thought that this would help people become a more profitable trader faster. So you want to talk about?
Well, along the same lines as that, though, is you also need to be open to it, right? You have to have a circle of friends that you trust to give you the appropriate feedback and criticism. And on this specific point about just emphasizing the right things or the wrong things in trading. So in our boot camp, you're going to hear us talk about how people focus on the wrong things. People,
the things that don't matter and don't make you money.
Right.
In trading.
In trading and frankly in life, actually, and to make quick decisions on it, because if you spend all of this time on an aspect of a trade that doesn't actually affect the end result, then you shouldn't spend that much time on it, and people end up spending way too much time on it. So quick decision making. So all right, back to
the thought, speech, and action.
The thought, speech, and actions, and the things that drew me to wanting to spend more time and have Ty, by choice, right, and have these friends of by choice. Is one, he had the passion and the desire to keep learning and improve his craft, whatever that was going to be, right? Two, he collected the evidence and was able to convey criticism constructively and candidly, right? And I forgot what the third one was. The mindset. Basically, that you could see in the way that he carried himself, in the way that his thought processes were. It was congruent with the way I saw things, and we always wanted to improve, right? So that growth. So just as our friendship developed, it was that I just wanted to hang out with somebody that helped me get better, and we could, with the synergy, we could actually both get better at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Eric?
Okay, so
thought, speech, action.
What were the reasons that, from my perspective, Ty and I became friends, that I wanted to become friends by choice? Well, I met him through less than reputable friend, associate, acquaintance, and
we'll just call him the bodybuilder.
We'll just call him the bodybuilder. And anyway, we met downtown, and I don't usually put my name on people, because when you put your name on somebody, then it's an extreme representative. And long story short is Ty and I talked for about 20 minutes. We had similar understanding about things. It seemed as though we had a logic that work together, right? Some people, the way they think and the way they talk is completely different than the way you think and the way you talk, and you don't agree with a lot of the things that come out of their mouth. Well, Ty and I got along very quickly, very well, and I put my name on him. I told my boss, I said, hey, you need to hire him tonight. And the next night he was on the schedule and he was working, so he got the job right away, and that's how we started working together. And then we ended up spending a lot of time together. I was giving him rides back and forth because he was on the way to work, and
didn't have a car.
Yeah, he didn't have a car. It turned out that we had read a lot of the same books. We are familiar with a lot of the same concepts, and we just completely meshed in terms of what kind of things we had expectations for. Getting out of the rat race, getting out of the 9 to 5. I mean, we both firmly believe that human beings are not living the lives that they're designed to live when you're in a cubicle or when you're working a 9 to 5 slave job. So we put our heads to work, and just like David said, one thing that really shined about him is that he has the ability to put the blinders on and to focus on one thing at a time. And so I'll reveal a little bit of my Kung Fu background here. When you watch some of these old videos with like Shaolin monks and stuff like that, you see that they have these interesting goals to break stone with their heads, or to be able to stand on, like, do a handstand but on one single finger. They just do a headstand on one finger. And if you can imagine the amount of pressure that puts on anyone's hands, the thing that they'll do though is that they'll train, and they'll have this single-mindedness where they'll focus on it, and it might take them 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to be able to achieve it, but there's no doubt in their mind that they're going to achieve it. It's like if you start putting money away for a travel trip, you know what? If you're putting money away and you're doing it regularly, it doesn't matter if it takes 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. You're going on that trip. You're going to have the funds to do it because you are taking action, and you're slowly accumulating the necessity to the things that you need to accomplish to be able to reach your goal. And that was something that Ty did with everything that he did. He would take every single day, you would see him taking action, and repeating the processes that were needed to become successful. And you know what? Unfortunately, the processes that are needed to become successful in most areas of life are failure. You have to do things so many times and overcome not being successful at it so many times before you get good enough to where you recognize when it's going to work and when it's not going to work, and that's when you become successful. And people say, how'd you become an overnight success? And people will say, well, it only took me 10 years to become an overnight success. And that's the case, is that he had a tenacity to approach failure in a way that was, failure means that I'm doing something right. It means I'm doing something that I can't do yet. It means I'm going the right direction. Because if I'm doing all the crap that I can already do, I'm never going to be able to get the things that I don't already have. I'm never going to be able to have the life that I don't have yet. So I have to be able to do things I can't do yet. And the only way I get better at those things is by failing at them until I'm freaking good at them. And now you see a gentleman that has a wealth of trading knowledge and experience, more than anyone that I personally know, even though I personally know a lot of traders from our history together, working with a lot of different instructors and a lot of different people with time on the CME, with time and experience on different exchanges and so forth. Excuse me. Tenacity, and also whenever we communicate, it's not about feelings. When you talk to people and they say, oh, this happened today, this happened today, this happened today, I did this pissed me off, this made me happy, oh man, I'm so excited about this. They just go on and on. There's no sign and end. There's no purpose to the conversation. There's no utility to the information that's being shared. And when Ty and I were communicating, when we were talking in the early days and even now, there's always a purpose to it. And don't twist this into some weird way saying somebody's trying to get something out of the conversation or the relationship. Turn it into, you know what? If we want to get better, we need to have a purpose. We need to have a purpose for everything we do. We need to get rid of the things that are not going to help us and not going to improve our situation, improve our lives, improve our relationships, improve our finances. So how do we get rid of the useless fluff, and how do we approach everything from a mindset of utility? And we start with our thoughts and our speech, and all of that will trickle into habits and actions, and those are the most important ones. So if you don't get started and have conversations on, you know what, how do I improve this relationship? How do I approach this situation? How do I overcome this issue I'm facing with taxes or with income or with my life situation? If you don't have a goal or a purpose for the conversation, then the information that you're receiving is nothing more than fluff. You might as well go sit down and watch daytime drama.
Yeah. So, all right. So those are some of the examples of each of us of how we saw each other, in the thoughts, the speech, and the actions when we made a conscious decision to choose each other as friends. Okay. And so when I can look at Eric and I say, hey man, I chose you as my friend. I didn't make friends with you by default.
I'm not a Pokemon dude.
Okay. Yeah. And the same thing with David. And they all know that. They all know and they value the fact that I chose them to be my friends. And I didn't let the fact that we worked together or that we knew each other or we were in close proximity, become friends. So they know that whenever I tell them something that, hey, this guy here is my friend, or Leon is my friend, and you need to get to know him or whatever, right? They trust my opinion because they know that I don't make friends by default. I make friends by choice. And they know that I have a lot of experience making friends by choice, because I've been practicing that for decades now. It's not something I just started, okay?
That's basically putting your name on people. It's the same thing. If you're going to put your name on somebody, then you're going to trust that their actions and their decisions and their input should be treated with as much respect as your own. If you're putting your name on somebody, then they're effectively acting as a representative of you. So that's something that we consider whenever we're making a new friendship by choice is, you know what? Would I put my name on this person? Would I let them act and behave and speak and give input in different areas?
Them come into my house.
Yeah, would I let them come into my home and excuse me. Yeah, so if you're going to put your name on somebody, then they're effectively, I view them as a representative of me, and that's how Ty views them as a representative or an extension of himself. And think about that for a second. Of your friends by default, how many situations would you allow them to represent you in? I mean, you might let them represent you in going to the store and getting you some beer. Would you let them represent you in other professional scenarios concerning work? What about concerning finance and $1 million deals? What are the situations where you would feel comfortable with them? Would you leave them alone with your wife and kids? Would you let them house sit for you? Would you give them $20,000, $50,000 and say, hey man, take this, I need you to do something for me? You know, can you trust them to take the actions that you need them to take or not? So when we have friendships in our life, we should be able to have quality relationships and trusting relationships where we can trust them to be an extension of ourselves.
And to give you an example, guys, when we come to trusting the friends by choice versus the friends by default, right? If I look at a cryptocurrency or any type of investment and I say, hey, you know what, this is a good investment, I need to be in it. And not only that, but my friend Eric or my friend leonfood.com or my friend David Fong needs to be in it too. I go ahead and make that decision for them. Okay, I go ahead and make that decision for them and put money into that, and then I come back and I will tell them, hey man, I put X amount of dollars in there for this crypto because I thought it would be good based on my analysis, and here's the reason why. And I don't get kickback or pushback from them. They just ask me, well, how much did you put in for me? I tell them the number and they just pay me back.
Hey, what's up, man? By the way, you owe me 20 grand.
Yeah, okay. And if, it may seem funny when you guys hear this, but if you don't have the type of friends around you that you can trust to do that with, then find new friends. Find new friends. It's better to have one friend. Okay, I remember a Catholic priest, my mentor, a Polish Catholic priest, told me once. He said that if you have one good friend that you can trust with your money and your family, he says you're a very lucky person. And he said that if you have two, it's a miracle. Okay, so I have 3, 4, 5, 6, a dozen. And I don't look at it as being, you could call it a miracle, but what I do is I look at it as being selective, making a choice. We have this bullshit in school where they teach us, don't judge a book by its cover. However, when we go into the real world, when we go buy a car, we're very selective. We take time. We do research online. We choose to see if that's a gas-saving engine or electric engine or a diesel engine or a gasoline engine. We try to see how many miles per hour it gets. We check to see if it's leather or cloth, what color, what's the ratings and the reviews on it. And we go through all this bullshit for a $20,000, $30,000 car or even for a $100,000 car. However, when we go make friends with somebody that we are going to spend a big chunk of our time with, like David was saying, you take the average of the 5 people around you and that's who you're going to become. Well, I want to make sure that the average of those 5 people that is going to be in that average calculation are going to be top-notch people. Okay? If I take an average of all my friends, right, that I consider friends that I would let stay at my house, that I would give the keys to my house to, right, and I would let them make investments, on my behalf, right? I would say they're all multimillionaires now, right? And I would not, and the reason why is not because I made those friends with those people before they became multimillionaires, right? I became friends with those because I saw that they had the right thoughts, the right speech, and the right actions towards becoming a wealthy person that can go to the moon with me, okay? That can moon, all right? And I'm not talking about moon as showing your butt to somebody else, okay? Because in cryptocurrency, mooning means you're gonna, the cryptocurrency that you get is going straight up, and we call that mooning. In America, when people play pranks on people where you pull down your pants and flash someone your butt, that's also called mooning. So when I say I want friends that want to moon with me, I'm talking about friends that want to make a shitload of money, not friends that want to run around and show their butt to everyone, okay? All right, so I just want to make that clear, all right? Because,
to be clear.
Yeah, we got people that don't speak English as their native language, and we don't want them to get the wrong definition of mooning.
Or use it in a sentence and not understand why they're being misunderstood.
Yeah, or they hear us use the word mooning and use it wrong, and then I like to have my friend, he likes to moon with me. And then
that was a great accent.
I don't know what accent that was, but
every accent turns out to be a bad Indian accent. If
I'm not good at doing accents, man.
Ty, do your Irish accent.
Hello, what is your name?
Jamaican.
Hey man, do you want to smoke a joint with me? How about my Indian accent? It sounds the same.
Very diverse.
Okay. But anyways, guys, I just want to share with you guys this because for the first 3 decades of my life, I made friends by default. I did not make friends by choice, right? And friends by default means friends by proximity. And that really, really hurt my ability to become, to make life-changing money or life-changing finances, right? Any last words before we wrap it up?
I just say, you know what? Approach this with a decision. If you've got there's this guilt complex that people have if they're not continuing an old relationship in the same capacity, right? We've got old friends that have problems. They got drama. They got all this stuff going on, and you know what? That happens. That's part of life. Our life situations change, and some people feel like they're abandoning their friends. They're abandoning their friend family, and but I don't know. I don't view it that way at all. I view it as, you know what, we each have a choice every single day, and we can choose to approach the world in a better way. And we have these belief systems that we go by, and these are constructs of the human mind. The construct means that your mind builds it, and your mind makes the choice to believe whatever it wants to believe. And if we can believe something new at any given moment that gives us more empowerment than we had and more potential and possibilities than we had the moment before, imagine that. We can simply choose to believe something new, and then all of a sudden we have all these new opportunities available to us. So I highly recommend believing the things that will empower you to have the best kind of life that you possibly can have. So that's my advice, is make a choice to believe the things that are best for you. And you know what? They should definitely help and affect the people around you. But if the people around you are going to be crabs in a bucket, then you know what? Then you got a choice. You can stay there in the bucket, or you can make some moves.
Yeah. Choose friends that help move you forward instead of holding you back and dragging you down. If you have friends that tell you you're stupid, you're crazy, and things like that, right? About bitcoins or cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology.
Get a real job. Quit gambling.
Yeah, friends that tell you stupid shit like that, fire them. Fire them. You're gonna feel so good that you fired a friend that is not sharing your same financial goals, right? You want friends that share your same financial goals and want to help you and want to drag you along. You want friends that, hey, Eric, can I borrow 10 bitcoins? Yeah, here. What are you gonna do with it? Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some more cryptos, altcoins with it. That's what I'm gonna do with it. Good, right? Here it is, right? Those are the kind of friends that you want, right?
Go to Vegas.
Yeah. How many times have I loaned you some bitcoins, David?
Oh, several times. I can't even count.
I've even given him some. I've even given him some, right? To get started, right? Who gave you your first bitcoins to get started?
Oh, it was none other than Tizen.
Yeah. And did I charge him for it? No. Okay, I told him, hey, take it, go make some money with it. All right? So those are the things that I want to share with you guys. And the last thing before we wrap it up, guys, on this episode of life-changing finances here, on making friends by choice versus making friends by default. Eric shared with you guys about the 3 strikes policy. And this 3 strikes policy is where
until you get good at it, then you can narrow it down.
Yeah, you can narrow it down. Like if somebody's saying stupid shit and just acting stupid, they get a $4,000 tax refund, and instead of going to buy some bitcoins or some ethers or some Dogecoin or something with that, they'd rather go on vacation with that. That's not a good use of money. That's not a good use of money. That's not a good, that's not a good friend to have. I think like 5 times, if I count it, I think it's 5 times now I've grabbed Leon Foo.com, my best friend and business partner. I've grabbed him by the throat and pulled him out of a Ferrari dealership and told him, no, we're not going to get a Ferrari right now. We're not going to get a McLaren right now. We'll get it later. We got to focus on making hay while it sun shines. And can he get that? Yes, he could have got that a long time ago. But 5 times I grabbed him by the throat. And you might say, well, Ty, aren't you being negative? Aren't you holding LeonFoo.com back from getting his Ferrari or his McLaren, right? No, I'm not. Okay?
You're making it so he can have 20 Ferraris.
Yeah, exactly. So now he looks at it, and now he can get 20 Ferraris if he wants, right? That's the kind of friends you want. You don't want friends that help you get 1 Ferrari. You want friends that can help you get 20 of them, right? So that's what I mean by that, guys. So any friends that's not willing to help you, right? Fire them. Just go choose new friends. There's like, 7 billion people on this planet now, right? In America, there's 300 million people. You can choose whoever you want to be your friends, right? No matter how rich or how poor you are, you still have the ability to make a choice of who you choose to be your friend. And when you're broke, make good choices, because that'll help you go a long ways. The next best thing, right, when you don't have money and you don't have startup capital, is to make a good choice of friends, okay? And I'll leave it at that. Any last words, guys?
That's it.
Okay.
One last thing. So just to sum it up for me, decide what you want and surround yourself in the environment with the people, the habits, thoughts that support those.
All right, guys.
Good summary.
If you guys like this straight up, no bullshit, right? No holds barred stuff on and the mistakes, and when we share our mistakes with you guys on how to make life-changing money and life-changing finances and life-changing profits, bro, right? Subscribe to our channel and our newsletter at www.cryptocurrency.market/newsletter. It's spelled just like you hear it, right? And follow me on Twitter at HeyTaiZen, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, from Puerto Rico, guys, right? Land of Jurassic Park.
Put that in there.
Yeah, land of Jurassic Park and the Spider-Man grade burglar bars, right? All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.